Thank you so much for joining me on this webinar. I am super excited to give you a rapid little slice of the whole entire curriculum, really three of the most important things when it comes to self-publishing in this little 30-minute webinar. So I am going to give you the real live slices of the actual curriculum. So this is just a short intro, but then I'm going to really dive into pieces and parts that you need to know, and I really hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much for watching. All right. Well, it's always weird to talk about yourself. Let me just say that out loud first. But I'm Corinne Kavanaugh, and I have a master's degree from Harvard and 20 years in marketing. And I thought, okay, I've got this book idea. I'm going to write this book. Of course, there was a rant for figuring out how to write a novel, but I did that. And then I was, surprised at all of the different various steps that you have to take to really truly self-publish. So that's what inspired this whole video series of 3 videos. And, when I'm not writing, kind of the through line of my whole life and my whole career has been storytelling. So, I've worked different places. I've worked in tech, I've started 3 companies, but these days I mostly speak at conferences and educate, and I serve on boards. So that's what I'm up to now. But just to give you a little background, let me do this here. This is kind of the full width of my experience as it relates to education and training, which I think is super important. You've got all of these folks out there that, are trying to deliver something, but I've actually spent years, decades, learning how to train people. And so I've built a following around that, around my marketing companies that I've run before. And then also I worked at, Safeco Insurance, which is now Liberty Mutual, and I was a digital marketing trainer for them. So they actually flew me all around the US, and I did 6 hour long workshops for people and loads of webinars for them to share with everyone in their company. So it really, my training experience really ranked up during that period of my life. And now I do public speaking, and I've published 3 books. These are my 3 books: An Audacious Woman, An Audacious Partnership, and An Audacious Love. It's a series. It's a series of contemporary women's fiction novels, and they're fun and they're lightweight and they have really great, strong female protagonists. So, if you like to read fiction in your spare time, check them out. But anyway, that's what I've published. And like I said, I've been in marketing a long time. And when I actually jumped in house at Microsoft, I was more on the communication side, working on customer engagement and communications. And CompTIA is a certification for trainers to train other people. So I did that a while back. I was a professor at Bellevue College and in their marketing degree program. So I was doing that for a while when I was pregnant with my first baby. Like I said, I'm a 3 time entrepreneur. Technically, now I have launched my third company. It's a media and publishing company. So all of my business, wraps under that. It's an LLC, so that's what I'm doing. No surprises. And yeah, I consider myself a leader, and I just got off a big press tour, and so I've done a lot of media lately. Those are the little dots you see on the bottom. So I am working to bring all of that breadth of experience and everything I wrapped up on during figuring out how to publish my own books pretty recently and bringing that to you. So thanks for joining me. So, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my story. I grew up in a small town in Washington State, and there wasn't a lot of opportunity there. And I decided to move to the big city. And, I kind of went through a couple different jobs. And then what really landed was that job at the insurance agency as like my first, like, wow, this is a big corporate role. And here's a photo from that. You can see with the yellow in the hotel. I was actually doing a training there. Um, moving to the left. After a while, I decided to jump out from that and I started my second business, which was called Donor Swell. And that was for nonprofits. I was doing marketing for nonprofits. My first company I launched at 26 years old, and it was a social media agency. And at that time, about 15, 16, 17 years ago, I, companies were just like, oh, social media is going to stick around. I have to do this, blah, blah, blah. So I led a team and actually had employees and everything to provide community management services, which was providing social media posts and engagement on the company's behalf. So people thought it was them online. It was actually me and my team online. That still happens today. But I've, learned a lot about that business. I got completely burnt out. That's when I joined Safeco. Fast forward, I met my husband and we knew we wanted to get pregnant. I wanted to wind down my consulting business so I could be a regular FTE. And so I joined Microsoft. And that's what you see here in this photo. It's a dark, the dark is actually backstage at a conference that they have every year called Inspire. So I was part of the comms team that created my VP's presentation and was making sure that the event went really well and that what he said was very compelling. So that was that. Let's see. Oh, on the right, that was really pretty recently. So December 2024, I was speaking at a Rotary Club and I was talking about writing and my passion and my book. But anyway, so this is where I'm at. Yeah, in the mix of that, I got my master's degree technically in 2020, but we couldn't walk until 2022 because of COVID, of course. And so that's what you see here. So I really wanted to pack everything I possibly could into this in a short time. Today's going to be an hour long and it's going to be chock full of stuff. In fact, let me just go to the next. But before I get into that, just really quick, I don't want to skip this. There is a serious problem to solve, I think, in the publishing industry, especially self-publishing. The information out there is so disparate and it's a long ramping period. Like it takes so long to learn what you should do when, and there are a lot of gotchas like, oh man, I wish I would have done that 3 months before, or oh, I wish I would have known that before I did this. So that's really what I want to do with this training is to improve your knowledge base from the start so you can just go for it and go straight through and be as efficient as possible. Okay, now you know a little bit about me. And now I want to tell you exactly what you're going to learn today in the next few minutes. First, one of the most important things is writing your book description. You're going to use this everywhere, potentially on the back of your book and everywhere online. So if you publish an ebook online or even paperback, you've got those profiles on Barnes& and Noble and Amazon. You're going to use the 2 sentence hook and the 2 paragraph description. So I'm going to show you how to get that and how to write it in a compelling way. I'm also going to show you how to get an ISBN for both EPUB and print paperback. You're going to need that. It's a universal number. You need it all the time. I'm going to show you in demo mode exactly where to go and how to go through and get it. And the third thing I'm going to show you today is how to submit for book review websites and book reviews, what you need to know about submitting to the New York Times and other ones like that so that you can get your book publicly reviewed. Now remember, I am giving you real slices of the actual recorded curriculum. So I'm going to just jet right into that and you're going to see me flip out outfits like in an instant. But don't you worry because I'm just getting to the heart of the most important content and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks. Write these things. Okay, how to write a hook. First, you need something that shocks or sides with. Then you need something that piques interest in the plot. And then you want to put your USP. So why your reader will like it. Okay, so why your target audience will like it. This is the hook. It's really hard. Okay, short form writing, super difficult. Um, especially if you are more verbose, which a lot of writers and authors tend to be, um, making it condensed into 1 or 2 sentences is very hard, and you can do it. So start with something longer, chop it down, chop it down, chop it down. Come back to these 3 tactics and just get it done for your book. I don't even know your book, otherwise I might help you do it. Okay, but this is what you need to do. Now, for the paragraph, this is what you do. I've broken it into 2 categories, fiction and nonfiction. So let's just take fiction, for example. When you were planning your story, you probably thought about the main sequence, the main points in your plot, which is what happens in Act 1, which is a plot setup, right? You're kind of setting up the characters, setting up the story, location, all that. Act number 2, the confrontation. You're not sure what's going to happen. And then you want to give them a hook. How reading about it will make readers feel. It's not about, what they're going to read about, like the content and how great it is, blah, blah, blah. How it make them feel. It's laugh out loud funny. It is filled with joy. You really want to pull what people are going to feel when they read it and be authentic about that in your description. Now, if you're doing nonfiction, totally different. You want the problem to solve and your personal qualifications right up front in the paragraph. And then after that, you give them what's in it for them. And so you're telling your reader kind of like mini learning outcomes. You're telling them what exactly they're going to get out of reading your book when they're done, what they have that they didn't have before. So that is it, right? That's how you write your descriptions. That's the formula for doing it. And it does take some focus and concentration, but you can do it. And the good thing about publishing, especially publishing ebooks or publishing through forums that we have now these days, is if you want to change it later, you can just log in and change it. So try your best, do the step, and move on to the next step. Next, I'm going to show you the demo for how to get your ISBN both for an EPUB and for print. So let me parachute you right into that learning module next. Here we go. This is Bowker, a very common website, myidentifiers.com, and you can just pop on over there and they register your ISBNs. It's pretty easy. So I'm just going to log in. You're going to have to sign up, obviously, and log in. I'm going to sign up. I'm going to log into my account. I think initially I bought 10. And so you can see my name's here. I have an account. And so where do you go? The very first thing I like to do is go to my account and my identifiers. And if you don't have any, it will give you an option to buy them. You can buy them. I bought 10 and I've assigned 6 because I have 3 books and there we go. So there they are. And so if you can see here, I've got a blank one. I could just say assign title. If I had a new book, says be sure your information is complete and accurate. You cannot update this, so you need to make sure everything's there. So your book title, your subtitle, your description, like we talked about, the format. So do you want to do EPUB or you want to paperback? You need an ISBN for each of those. Subject, genre, we know about those, right? Okay. And authors and contributors. So you just need to have all this information before you do this. You need to have an idea of what you want to sell it for. And then you hit submit and you will have your ISBN. Even better if you upload your book cover. That's why we did book cover before doing this step, because you need to upload it so that in library systems or in bookstore systems, when they're looking you up and they're looking you up by ISBN, it actually pops up the right information. So put all of the stuff we just did into this and you'll get your ISBN and you'll be set. This is, okay, the third thing you're going to learn today in this webinar, this rapid fire webinar, is about submitting your book for book reviews. These are super important really incredible social proof. So let's get to that. I'm not only going to tell you what to do, how to do it, and some gotchas, but also I'll give you a resource. It's one page of a multi-page resource that I have. So you can get that here just for free, just by watching this webinar. All right, let's go. Next are these couple of items on our checklist, and let's start from the top. Review and platforms. The reason it says it like that is these different platforms, Influence, Book Social, NetGalley, Elderwise, are often requested as a valid legitimizing location that review authorities can actually go and pick up your manuscript from, or your ARC version from, before they will do like a book review, like a public book review. And so you may need to choose one of those in order to get it in front of the right people if you want those well-known book reviews. But just know these are some of the most popular ones. Or this is not an exclusive list, but these are some that are recognized, and you might look into them to see if they're within your budget. Often they have a price tag with them. The next is submitting to book review authorities. So I would suggest to think about the top 5 in your genre that also have your target audience. That's super important, not to just say the top 5 all out there. It could do very well by just picking the right ones, not necessarily the top ones. And finally, we've got literary authorities here. Submit to review awards and authorities. So let me show you what I mean by each of those things. Okay, it's getting fun now. So, when you signed up for this course, it included guides. There's this guide, that guide, this guide, and I sent them to you via email. They're actually already in your email box as PDF. So, what you see here on the screen, and you're going to see a couple more of these, just know they're actually already in your email for you to use and reference, and the blue links are clickable. Okay, so I just put together top 5 book review authorities, and then the top 5 literary review authorities, and next, which is really exciting, we're going to go into awards. And who doesn't want a book award? Pretty cool. All right, there you have it. There are your 3 important key items for self-publishing in that 30-minute webinar. As I wrap up the last few minutes, I wanted to call out something for you. I really want to encourage you to take the full course. I mean, you've just got little bits that I think are really important, and I hope that you find them valuable and helpful in this free webinar. But there's so much more that needs to be done, and it's my pleasure to explain every single step of the way so that you don't have to go through all of the time-consuming strife that I had to go through learning all of these things. So if you take the full course, here are the learning outcomes. Pretty specific. As I said at the beginning, I've got, a background. I'm a trained learning professional. I'm certified and all that. So learning outcomes are actually very important. And this is what you would get from the full course. So, you can read it at your leisure, but I really want to encourage you to take a closer look at it, because if you're going to self-publish and spend all of that time writing something of value, I want to make sure that you're getting it out there to as many people as possible and doing things in the right order so that your effort is actually very efficient and timely. So I'll admit to you, I am a planner, a mega planner. And when I first set out to write my books in quick succession and get 3 books published in 12 months, I actually set up a waterfall for myself. So this is, you can see it in Excel, and I've made it sort of more generalized for you to match the full checklist. So this is a publishing planner. And using this publishing planner, you can go from manuscript to publish ebook and paperback with a marketing setup in just 10 weeks with 1 hour a day. This is how this is outlined. So if that's interesting to you, and it's just an additional value add when you do sign up for the course. And I wanted to point it out to you because I personally used it and I made it for myself and I wanted to share it with you. And I want to share it with as many people as possible so that they can really get their words out there to the world. Okay, so by this point, you're probably thinking, okay, what is this full course? What all does it include? And, how much is it? Well, let me just tell you, I have it on sale through my website for just $349. And the reason I put it at that price point, even though it has all of the strategies and tactics and hands-on demos, and the videos are actually on demand. So they come to your email and you can watch them and rewatch them at any time. We're going through the full checklist, literally every single bullet point. I will show you and teach you the strategy, tactics, and demo. The reason I put it at that affordable of a price point is because there are so many people who want to become published authors. And I just feel like it shouldn't be such a burden getting your words out to the world. You're trying to share something likely very authentically that you believe is of value, or will bring people joy. And I don't want to inhibit that. I want to help propel that forward. So it's $349. I really encourage you just pop through my website and sign up, and it will come automatically through your email. And of course, you can reach out to me at any time. And if you do take this opportunity and sign up today, I will include all four of the free guides. So this is about a $230 value, and that includes the 10-week publishing planner I just gave you a little preview of, but also the book authorities PDF with links. You didn't see it here in this webinar, but it is incredible place, an incredible resource. Literary Review Authorities Guide, and a prestigious lit awards specifically for indie. So that means self published. You can actually apply to different awards to get your book read and get more visibility. So I really encourage you. Please, I hope that you found this webinar of value, and I really encourage you to go ahead and sign up for the full course. If it's not for you at this time, that's okay too. I just would ask that you'd follow me online and we keep in touch over the time. Thanks so much for your time and attention, and happy publishing.